there's still so much more to go, and I know it's not over yet. But what a fucking week it has been. It's like all the magnetic poles of the earth somehow reversed, and everybody, I mean, there were no exceptions at any point, has just been and took a big bite out, let's just say, without swearing too much, a big bite out of me. When I was younger and in my early 20s, the whole idea of autism wasn't a long reach for people to make, but back then it was just a sort of, you know, off the cuff insult that, you know, like I'd be at an house with some mates, and like one guy, I remember this one guy, I'll just hear him from kitchen, "Theo, why are you so weird?" And you know, it's like, fuck, I can't just like pretend that I can't hear you talking about me now. You know what I mean? Because I get it all the fucking time, and it's like, other people have got pissed off on my behalf. It's that bad. If he's not going to say anything, I am, yeah? Like, a guy in jail got hot watered just for sticking up for me. But I was so vacant, I didn't even notice, like. And I think that's a good thing in a way, because like when people try really hard to get me to notice, it sort of frustrates them even more, and I can't tell why they're getting so irate all of a sudden, you know. And it's not like I've got some fucking witty comeback, or, you know, I'll shout their head down with something clever. It's just, what? Are you just gonna sit there and let them say that? And I thought, say whatever you fucking want, mate. Like, good on you. If I'm so frustrating, I mean, what is there in your life? You know, what pent up sort of latent thing have you got inside you that I'm representing here? Like, what am I a substitute for in this attack? But I don't even think I'm under attack, because it's just nothing, you know what I mean? Like, well, this is a more recent one. Apparently I walk like a gorilla. No, like, especially when I've got my sexy Adidas stripes on, like, you know. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's like, I look like I've got my coat hanger stuck in my jacket, yeah, but I actually can't do anything about it. But like, oh god, everyone takes the piss. And I remember I was at a funeral a few months ago, and like, I heard someone's little kids going, why does he walk like that? And I'm like, yeah, alright, well, I'm supposed to be the mongy one. Like, what have you come as? You know, this is my zone, so stop cloning. But more recently, I mean, I've been told since then, well, no, not since then, it was sort of going on at the time, but since I was a kid in my early 20s and that, when, you know, they just used to think of me as a spacker, and like, since then I've been told, I've been found to have more than one disability. You know, the way my brain developed, like, I always did have a pretty powerful imagination. Sometimes it's really nice to let it go wild on something, and some people I will not name had a pretty fucking good time sharing it with me as well, you know, and everyone's walking around and like I've forgot that or something, you know what I mean? Like, but now it's in black and white, you know. He's autistic. I'm like, so what? I live for free. If I was seeing someone and they kicked me out tonight and didn't want to see me again, I would not be in trouble. If I needed to, I don't know, fuck off somewhere like Bolton or something like that, a bit far away at a moment's notice, I could just change course and head down there right now, you know, not affecting me. And if, you know, if someone actually did show an interest in me, like, I wouldn't have a lot of things I need to start, you know, working towards, you know, like, yeah, maybe there'll be a few things that you probably want to change, yeah, but, you know, there'd be nice things, you know, like, say you haven't got the time to get in my head to, you know, change really basic things, like, because I don't know, I've already done that. That's the easy bit. And I love it, you know, like some things when a girl's changing you, it feels good, you know, like, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm glad you changed that, because, well, if you're with someone and it's important to them, you know, but since I got diagnosed with autism, it's like everyone forgot all that. Like, nobody was around that. Well, yeah, there's other obvious things why this week it's not the shittest week I've ever had, but it definitely cracks the top 10. Just, you know, I've spent in my life before, I've spent it all like just pandering, you know, being extra nice to people. Things like, if someone started being a twat with me, I'd think maybe I'm disrespecting them, or, you know, doing something insensitive that I haven't picked up on. Yeah. And even worse, when someone tries to drop hints, that's the same as when people take the piss. Like, I don't always pick up on it, so like it'd be just more frustrating if you were a hint dropper sort of person. I know I've said this before and been wrong about it, but I'm sure about myself a lot more than I was back then. Enough to say I know what love is, what's important. I miss all those things. I miss spending a day where I could just properly be into someone and listen to, you know, just listen to them, just for like really basic things like, yeah, I find you really interesting, you know. It doesn't always have to be sexual. I'm not really like desperate for that, no. But just having that in a casual day to day, even if it's totally platonic, I don't mind. Like, has everybody forgot all the times? I mean, there were times. Has everybody forgot that I like those things now? Is it because I did a test and, you know, I had just as much autism then as I do now? I didn't catch it or something. I still had it my entire life. I still had it then, I still have it now. When I go places, if I do bother to take pictures and that anymore, I don't want to be in the shop. It'd be nice to, you know, yeah, you can have yourself in the shop. Nice place, don't mind. Go somewhere beautiful. Have a nice day of easy living. It'd be nice to have someone in the shop. Not a journey inward. it'd be nice for a whole day to be about someone else, watching them be happy, and, you know, being charmed that I get to be a part of that. I've never had a reputation for, you know, coming on to someone all the time. Like, and even back then, people behaved as if, like, you know, I didn't have those feelings. Of course I fucking did. Of course I did. I still fucking do. I just, didn't want to ruin it with my knob, you know. Because, well, back when I had a few people buzzing around me in my life, like, some of them, yeah, they were very attractive, but when it came to when it came to you're very attractive, I really like you, I just remember things like, fucking hell, how many people have probably come out like that today, you know, this week, all the time. I can finish this peeling any time I want. Any lad can, and they do. So what's the hurry? I know I have been known to I've been known to, like, you know, show off, seek attention, do silly things, make silly noises, take the piss, wind people up. But underneath all that, I'm actually quite a shy person. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't so visible. It wasn't so visible, you know, like when I used to chill with people. Like, but yeah, I did get really shy. And sometimes all I wanted to do was say, like, how I feel about you. How I could just, and sometimes I get close, so annoyingly close. And then, like, I didn't want to even. I want to carry on being this close. So why would I do anything to ruin that right now? since last week, someone, a health professional, let's just put it that way, said that I numb my brain, and it's pointless talking to me when I numb my brain because I don't have any feelings. I don't think anxiety is a malfunction in the brain. I think anxiety is an evolved sense of what's the opposite of camouflage? Like when you're like probably the proto-humans years and years ago would fall, you know, for predators if they suddenly lost their natural camouflage or stood out from the crowd as low-hanging fruit. And anxiety is like an instinct to do something about that. So I don't know if I don't know if that sounds ridiculous if you're a biologist or anything like that, but the brain evolved from the inside out. And when you talk to a mental health worker about anxiety, they'll get the diagram out how the hippocampus is adjacent to the amygdala, and those two parts of the brain just cause friction in your head because they're so close to each other, when really it's just as evolved a reaction as why your fingers and your toes go wrinkly when you've been in the water, so you can grip in the water. I mean, as far as scientific discovery was concerned, that response to being in water, they connected the dots on that pretty late. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I do have feelings. When someone, when I go to someone for help, and you know they're wearing a lanyard, it's the NHS, I've been allocated as your worker, and since last week I've been thinking about it, and I got basically attacked. You know, someone saw my case and accepted it, said, yeah, alright, I'll have this one. And then, you know, within the first few minutes of the introduction, first time you've seen this person who's got you on your own before the other person turns up. But in every other situation, they always have to have two people because of the stupid bullshit notes that they keep that aren't accurate. And the stuff that I'm struggling with, it was, I heard this diatribe. This diatribe as if my ones were some sort of a lifestyle choice, and that I've no one to blame but myself. I choose to have these problems. Now, there's a lot of people out there who think, if I can do it, so can you. And then this is the pearl of wisdom, the genius that mentality leads to. If I have to go through it, then why shouldn't you? I'm trying to get my identity back. Because that was definitely not a lifestyle choice. It wasn't a choice I had. I'm not out for justice or revenge or, you know, Weston's law to make sure it never happens to anyone again. There's just a little thing that I need putting back to normal. It wouldn't be a burden on anyone. They could even let students take care of it. I'll only need to go through this once, and it would be absolutely nothing to anyone else. It wouldn't be a cumbersome on them. I mean, but the problem is, when the kind of people I'm trying to illustrate see that, it's like they see a sense of entitlement, and this is where the if I have to you know, I don't get to no one's gonna help me like that. I wouldn't be allowed to get that help, even though you know, and I can't. What I'm trying to say is, like, people with that opinion, they see my situation and they see some sort of, they perceive me as having some sort of, believing that I have some sort of entitlement, and their only contribution, and this is my fucking mental health, my well-being, my dignity as a person, they want to rob me of that, and it's amazing. Like, I never thought I'd need this help in my entire life, but now that I do, people have made a point of saying, well, you know, those people have got cancer, what's wrong with you? Great, so someone's gonna get that help, but very soon they're gonna die of cancer. why should I be ashamed of asking for just one thing to be put back, right? The world was going through the coronavirus epidemic, yeah? Like, there is really no one to blame, and it certainly wasn't a choice that I made. And last week I got that again. Someone took my case on, and it was just an ambush. But one thing those kinds of people also like to attack is my prescribed medication from a doctor. In the last 3-4 months, I've had 16 medication reviews that have started with my repeat medication getting pulled, and not even tapered down, just abruptly stopped. When I was diagnosed with autism, I felt like I'd missed the point or something, because people around me, real people who actually do give a fuck about me in some way, they said, "Oh, this is great, like it was a good thing." I'm like, this is a disorder. My brain hasn't developed in a, typical, that's what they call it, atypical, not neurotypical. Like, they call it an ASD, an autism spectrum disorder. And I'm like, they've just told me I've got a disorder. Like, why is that a good thing? And he said, well, all the problems that you might not have, that people might not have understood or realised that you struggle with in day-to-day life, you'll get help with those things now. And I'm like, alright then. So this one thing I want putting back, yeah, the way it's supposed to be. Well, that was one of the things, they asked me, mental health team, what would you like help with? I said I want to help with that, because if that was sorted out, it'd only take one day to sort it out, and not long to recover from. Then I really believe that I can face everything else, and not just what I struggle with, what I've been through, because I've got demons you'll never know in your life. I mean, I'm not making it up. I don't want to trivialise what anyone else has been through, but by the time I've finished telling someone, who was obliviously walked into that one and asked me about it, even people I talk to say like, oh, when all the opinionated people started to come, telling me that, you know, like I managed to, like I somehow managed to manipulate the doctor into just giving me the best drugs that I want for free. Like, you know, and what's insulting is I'm religious about my medication. I don't, you know, I don't, if I wanted to get a buzz or whatever, I really don't need a doctor, and I can get pretty much whatever I want without wasting a doctor's time. But then a new person's got involved, and yeah, they start weighing in with their opinion and that. And then it's like all these things I've been encouraged to reach out for, need help with, sort of, you know, my brain, this artistic brain, obviously didn't develop to handle this situation very easily. And it's like someone takes on my case and joins in as a key worker or whatever you want to call them, case worker or whatever, and the only reason that they've done it is because they want to get your face. They want to tell you how they go to the gym, they go running, they play golf. Why can't you? Have you got diabetes or asthma or something? No. Oh, so you fit them well then? Sarky little bitch comments like that. And this most recent specimen, weapon, whatever, and just before I got fucking laid into with all that, they tell me that they've read up on all my files and my records and that, and it's like, well, did you miss the fucking, did you miss both of my disabilities? How can you even have the hubris to suggest there's something like autism? And trust me, it takes a lot of self-discipline just to sit still without swinging my head around and not being silly and all that, doing making myself look disabled, like, not just to cling on to a bit of dignity or whatever. I read through all your records and I'm slagging you off and basically saying I can do all of these things, you know. Why should you get away with it? Why should you be exempt from, you know, needing to hate yourself enough? Because obviously that's what it drove them to. You did this to yourself, and do you never just think, you don't fucking know me? What is this patronising little fucking turd that, like, I've read all your records, What, and you thought of a couple of comebacks while you were going through it all? Fuck's sake! I had my GP removed because a drug worker who I didn't need to see, but I was forced to need to see, a drug worker, a mental health triage nurse, and some fucking another weapon at the pharmacy. We're all on the phone to each other discussing the things in my private life that I told in strict confidence over the phone, over the counter, with just other people who went into the same pharmacy as me. I was the victim of an armed robbery while I was asleep, and if you know anyone who's got night terrors and gets up when they're asleep, you'll know that it is pretty fucking horrible. It's horrible to watch myself go through it. I couldn't look at it, but I couldn't leave my house on my own for 3 years because when I did get the armed robbery, I was on licence, so all they did was recall me to prison. I reported the armed robbery in my police interview. I reported it when I was jailed for 3 months. I didn't even breach my licence. They just did it to get rid of me. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't force me out of my flat before I was released again. That was the plan. So the guy who robbed me, he still lives there now. I didn't go out of my house on my own for 3 years. And the drug worker, it's ridiculous. The drug worker, the mental health nurse, and the pharmacy fucking person wasn't even the pharmacist, just a person who stocked the shelves and worked there. Managed to force me to have to go out on my own when I wasn't ready for that at all. Fuck. And I lost my shit. I had a little outburst, yeah. Like, I shouted about, the same person kept answering the phone over and over again when I tried to get through, and there were 2 other people I could have spoke to, saying they just fucked me about, and they got in my head, yeah, and they broke me because they were the people who were supposed to be helping me. They thought it was funny as fuck to wind me up, and I kicked a fucking door a few times and shouted about the sort of, basically, you don't treat anyone else like this, what gives you the right to do it to me? So I had my GP removed, and now I've got this company. This company are you're not allowed to sign with a GP. You have to deal with this company, and this company's fucking me about now, and it's another person weighing in with their opinion has started talking to all the other workers, and you know what I think. Fucking everyone's the same in the head. To think like that. If I can do it, why can't you? If I have to go through that, why shouldn't you? What makes you so special? Like, bitch, I don't want to be special. You know. But it was something that wasn't my fault. Because it usually is somebody's fault when that happens. Well, someone saw the chance to fucking get me on my own and say, hey, this is your fault. You know, like, who the fuck asked you for your opinion? And if you've read all my records, you know, why are you treating me? Literally told me that I numb my brain with medication. I'm sure the doctor who prescribes that was I'm sure the doctor who prescribed the medication, they were attacking, did it for mind numbing purposes. You know, like me and some doctor were getting stoned in a hippie van one day and thought, dude, let's prescribe some shit. You know, and they talk to you like that's what it's about. And I'm like, shit, you know, these are you know, the every single one of these things was carefully picked, titrated, monitored, you know, assessed by a hospital prescriber and accepted by a clinic into a shared care agreement. Things like that. And they're telling me that I don't have any feelings, and there's no point having counselling or therapy because you need to it gets emotional. You need to have emotions to go through something like that. This fucking saggy old boot has made an appointment months in advance, said all of this shit, that she goes to the gym and goes running and plays golf. What? No, people screw their face up when I mention the gym. Yeah, like what? Is that what you were expecting? Shit. No. Think I don't know about all that. And I won't mind, but after I kicked that door a few times and a couple of people got upset, even though I didn't really do anything, I just had a meltdown in public. And 3 people in the right place in the office culture can do that to you. Doesn't matter, you know, they can just flap your dignity away from you just like that. They call it a meltdown. I feel uncomfortable saying terms like that. But I've had things that I've done in duress described back to me, and by professionals who actually know about autism spectrum disorders. But all of a sudden, you know, some twat gets in on the fucking casework, all my medication gets stopped. And it was just because I had that outburst in public that there were an actual autism team who got involved with me as part of a probation order, because I demanded a more an investigation into what happened in the first place. They weren't allowed to put a punishing element onto my sentence because I wanted an investigation into what was going on to take place. When I said I wanted to go to trial, 2 of the 3 people who put statements in about me withdrew the statements because I wanted an investigation to run its course. So what they did was they gave me a rehabilitation order, but they couldn't tell me what I was supposed to be rehabilitating from. Someone wears a fucking lanyard with an ID badge on it because they have an NHS email address. They're trusted to work with vulnerable people. Everyone else who does casework with you, you know, like a social worker or an autism worker, like, and I don't blame them. They just accept that because, you know, because they've got that responsibility, they don't fuck with the people who they're supposed to be providing some sort of care for, or at least a plan. And I don't know if you've been able to follow me to this point in the video. You might be disabled. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if it's happened to you as well, it is teensy weensy, a bit humiliating, isn't it? It's like, come on, open up to us. We're here to help you now. We're here to discover your needs. What are they? We will provide for them. And they fuck with you. Today all my medication that I was supposed to have was just pulled, and they post dated it for Saturday when they know my pharmacy's closed to the weekend. They've cut my pain medicine off. Diverted the blood tests that I did to have this help that I need to somewhere else. And these are the same people who get to decide when I'm allowed to sign with a GP of my choice. So they kind of have control over everything. And you don't have a GP, like doctor whatever. You just have a duty clinician. They actually come out and see you in a fucking trailer. I'm not joking. The last appointment I had with a GP was on the Co-op car park across from my house. I mean, there's people pulling up and dropping off and shit. And sat in all of that in the scummy corner of the Co-op car park was this trailer. And this guy, he sat there playing with the pink tourniquet while he mumbled shit, incoherent shit. He was supposed to do a blood test. He did a loop-de-loop, you know, and he poked a needle in one of my veins. Said I was going to have a whacking bruise there. And then just trailed off talking shit. No. He's got all, because I've had my GP removed, he's got all these fucking security around him to protect him, yeah. And while they're waiting outside, ready to pounce if I kick off or whatever, he just sits there and assaults me in front of my fucking mum. Gives up, like, you know, already bruised the fuck out of you. And then he fucks off. And then he stalls me for 7 months. This is brilliant, this. He delays a blood test that a consultant wants to help me for 7 months because we're waiting for someone to give us a butterfly needle.